Okay, we're currently waiting for our live stream to appear in the video, so just a moment, please.
Sure.
12 people watching now. Yay. Okay, so the video is on YouTube, so thank you for joining us, you guys already, and thank you, Jon, for being the main cast today. I think our ambassadors will be very excited to see you here.
It's great to see all of you. Well, I'm actually not seeing all of you, but I am talking to all of you. So it's great that you're there.
Yeah. So, first of all, quite a few people are concerned about your health too, being in the US, unfortunately, one of the worst hit countries about this coronavirus. But how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Obviously, it's not a great situation, and I think if you're comparing how the different countries are doing, there's a very big difference. Obviously, you guys in Norway are already kind of going back to work, and in Iceland it's the same, that people are starting to be able to go back to work and have a more or less normal life.
Yeah.
That's not the case where I am, so the situation is quite different, but it's. I'm doing okay, thank you, and I hope all of you at home are doing great as well.
Yeah. The Vivaldi team is in a good shape. Some of us started working from home or at the office, but always well on our side. So I guess let's see how many people watching now. Okay, cool. People are saying hello in the comment section. Thank you. All right. We have already some questions from the ambassadors, Vivaldi ambassadors, and I'll read them, and I'll ask Jon to answer the questions. But if any of you has a question, comes up with a question during the live stream, please don't hesitate to leave the question in the comment section. All right, I'll start. The first question, I'll just read it. My question is, if they plan to market Vivaldi as a strongly privacy and security-oriented browser, but at the same time extremely easy to use. During the last years, seems like that is the direction most products are taking, even the ones who almost no one minimally tech-savvy could trust, like Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. Configurability, simplicity, and strong security could be three keywords that, in my humble opinion, would make Vivaldi a very strong contender, even to the big ones like Firefox and Chrome. All right, that's the first question.
Well, I mean, as a company, I mean, what we specialize in many ways is to tailor to your requirements as a user. And that means, in a way, the browser can be simple or it can be advanced. I mean, we're there to grow with your needs. We're not trying to just make a simple browser, which typically means removing all the functionality. What we're trying to do is to build a useful browser that works really well for you. And part of that, obviously, there's privacy and security where we want to do really well. And obviously starting with how we as a company treat your data, which I think, I mean, that needs to be the core of it, that data collection is not part of our business model. And then obviously trying to keep you safe on the internet. But that's only one part of what we are doing. Then there's the part of listening to each and every one of you and kind of tailoring the functionality that we have to your needs and seeing the individual instead of seeing statistics. And again, I mean, we don't even have the statistics to be able to make decisions based on them, except when you ask you questions. So we want the browser to be as easy to use as possible. At the same time, we also want it to be kind of really feature rich, and we are putting in a lot of features that you don't find in any other browser on the planet.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you, Jon. And also, there's another question about actually your favorite type of coffee. What is your favorite type of coffee?
I mean, I drink a lot of coffee, to be frank. I
Okay.
mean, which is quite common in Scandinavia. But I do like the stronger kinds. I do like espresso and basically cafe, kind of the kind of thing you get in Southern Europe and the like. And then I have to admit, I'm also a big fan of green tea.
Yeah.
I love green tea because I like the variation. I don't want to drink only one thing, so I'm drinking coffee and I'm drinking tea, and I might drink some other things with caffeine in it, anything that works. But a lot of focus basically on the coffee and the green tea.
Yeah. What was the trigger for your liking of green tea?
I was in Japan. I mean, I was being served green tea all the time. I really liked the cold ones. It was really good to be able to go between cold and hot green tea and the like. And it just feels really good to drink. So I love it.
Yeah, it's very refreshing. I remember it clearly. By the way, sorry I didn't clearly introduce myself, but yeah, Japan is my home country. My name is Takaaki. Please call me Taka, and I've been close to the Japanese, our Japanese user bases in Japan. It's still, it's been one of our biggest user bases, and yeah, I've been living in Norway for some time, but still like green tea just as much as you do. Yep. Moving on to the next one. Um, I'll read it. I would like to know more about how decisions are made regarding the implementation of feature requests. Some seem to be easy to implement and would cost very little in development time. The status bar clock had only 19 votes, but got implemented anyway. It was far from easy to do, and led to a string of related requests for enhancement. Still, some bugs remain. Several requests with over 100 votes are not even tagged as in progress yet. Some are obviously hard to do. But what is so hard about, for example, master passwords or save files in temporally folder? I hope that the experimental notes editor is not going to make it into the status build. It's far from finished, according to him, them. Yeah. So what's your take, Jon?
Well, I think the way we like to work as a company is a little bit different from a lot of other companies. Again, we listen to you. I mean, that is a difference. And to all of you. It's not always a question of just doing the majority or kind of what is the most popular or like. And we also listen to our developers. And sometimes you find a developer that takes a fancy to a feature and then they go and implement it. Sometimes it's feature that no one really has asked for. And we also have to remember that you have to have the right developer for every task. So you may say, okay, this looks really easy and this looks really difficult. Well, it depends on who's doing the job. So in the case, for example, of the clock, which, by the way, was a feature that I also wanted, to be frank, I'll say that plainly. It's a feature that I wanted to see in there. It is a question of, it's more of a design feature. There isn't a lot of underlying code. So one of our designers went and did it and didn't require a lot of work from other developers. Well, some of these other works will require other kind of competence. And I think it's easy to understand, and it's important to understand that's kind of something that influences our decision. We want we work differently with you guys. We listen a lot more to you. And obviously the things that are top of your list, I mean, that's really important to us. And you see us going through it one after another. But at the same time, we also want to be a company where we can do things because we want to. And that means sometimes we implement features just because someone wants to. And it's not necessarily on top of any one list or the like. This is how we did things like, for example, the integration with the Philips light systems and the like, where you could control the lights when you were browsing. It's something that we do because it's fun, Someone had the idea to do it, and then we did it. And it's similar in some ways with the clock. Someone had the idea to do the clock. We wanted to do the clock. There were different requirements, and we ended up doing it. Is it useful for everyone? No. Is it useful for some? Yes. Are some people really going to love it? Indeed. So it's kind of like our decision process is probably a little bit more ad hoc. I strongly believe that you take away innovation when you put things into too much system. And I think we've seen kind of a lot of companies are talking about how do we innovate, how do we do new things. We're not doing that at Vivaldi because we don't have to, because both we have a lot of good ideas from you guys and we have a lot of good ideas inside the company where anyone inside the company can have an idea and then just people go and implement it.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Jon. We've got a interesting comment on the YouTube side from Reclining Buddha. That's a cool username. Green tea is also very popular in Burma. They also chew pickled tea leaf. Yeah, that's a cool style. They maybe extract the elixir directly from the tea leaf, maybe to get green tea. Never been to Burma. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to be there.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, hopefully to present Vivaldi too. Green tea and Vivaldi should love each other. Let's see. Moving on to another one. Yes. Yeah. Aside from wishing Jon being in the US taking care of COVID, perhaps I have a question about Vivaldi's future plans. In the first line of making more Google independent, perhaps at Vivaldi OS in response to Chrome OS, Sci-Fi, I know, and other software projects?
I mean, always looking at to expand, but at the same time, we do have a lot on our table already. I mean, we do have the browser, we have the mail client and calendar that we're working on. Could we go and build a Vivaldi OS based on Chrome OS? Yes, we could, but I think we'll focus on finalizing all the tasks that we have at this time. But there's plenty, and I can tell you that there's plenty that you know of, and there's plenty that you don't know about as well.
Exciting, huh?
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. There's a comment from Saga. Hi. Hello, guys. Good night. Sorry, your time zone might be, I don't know, a bit midnight or something. But you can after this live stream, this video will be available as a video on demand. So just click the same link and you should be able to see the whole content. And there's another comment from Tiago Wakabayashi. Hi. Hello. Yeah, Ozora Tsubasa, that's his Vivaldi.net account name. Thank you for joining us, watching it. If you have also any questions you come up with on the spot, don't hesitate to write me. Yeah. So, moving on to the next one. I do talk to some developers regularly and try to promote Vivaldi, but I can feel their eyes glaze over when I mention a privacy-oriented browser. Many do not even seem to understand the need or why anyone wants such thing. Also, many of my friends' workplace environments are now built around Chrome, so why would they want to change?
Yeah. I mean, there's questions here, and one of them is privacy, and the other one is kind of, okay, why would you use another browser? And I mean, that's a common question. Now, on the case of privacy, I think what we have to realize is this is not only about our personal privacy, it's about society and how we want it to work. And so you may think, I have nothing to hide. If you're collecting information on everyone and that is used to create profiles on us, which are then used to influence our behavior, not least when it comes to political processes, that's a really big issue. And I think we need to understand that this is not a personal issue. This is something that influences our society. And we are finding that data is being used, is being collected by those large companies, which are then utilizing those data to again, influence our decision making. And I'd like to quote Nigel Farage in this, where he was questioning Mark Zuckerberg in the EU Parliament. And basically, it was more of a comment than a question. And he basically said, without you, there would have been no Brexit and no Trump. So then you may think that's a good or a bad thing. I have to admit, personally, living in the US, I wish we had another president. But in reality, I mean, the question is, how do we want the democratic process to work? Do we want the process to work in a way which is we're all getting the same messaging and the like, and the personalized messages for different people, I think is a really unfortunate thing, and it is placing a lot of us in different camps where we're getting different sets of information. So stopping that is I believe, extremely important, that actually this ability to tailor communication based on people's behavior, I think is very unfortunate and needs to be stopped sooner rather than later. And that's what this question of privacy is about. It isn't about, okay, you're able to see what I search for or something, which, by the way, also may be a sensitive matter. Maybe I'm searching for something related to a disease I have or something, and then see ads for it later. I think that's really unfortunate, but there are other examples of it. But I think the political side of this is the most dangerous, because if it's being used to send out very many different messages to different people, and that sadly is happening. People are sending hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of different messages to with political content every day. So that's one thing. On the other hand, with companies deciding, obviously it's a question of what's important to companies. I would say that choosing Vivaldi is a good choice, for not least from the privacy perspective. I think it's a question of the features that we have. If companies find those useful, or if you find it useful at work. But obviously we can't force anyone to use Vivaldi. If they don't like our feature set, then that's a choice. But I think, as you found, anyone that spends time with Vivaldi will find that there is a set of useful functions that set us apart, that after a while you find, okay, I don't really want to use another browser because I can't do this, whatever that is.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Yeah, I too believe that, I mean, a browser is a gateway to the internet, and you know, you'll search about a lot of things you're wondering about, and yeah, it's a big issue. You also mentioned some concrete examples of concrete outcomes of personalized like content. Maybe we, as a privacy-oriented browser, or I think the importance, necessity lies there as well in those concrete examples, in my opinion. Another one. Secondly, regarding Vivaldi for Android, being one of a minority using an Amazon Kindle Fire, I'm constantly getting messages saying I must install the Google Play Store for Vivaldi to work.
Yeah, basically that's like a bug, yeah. Right? We need to find out what that is about. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. I too have an access to the bug reporting system, so I actually earlier this today I pinged the devs, so I'll update you on this issue. Thank you for the question, and the last one from the this corner is on a side issue. As I use Windows for now, I got Microsoft Outlook for the Kindle. Long story short, one cannot connect to a Gmail account without having Chrome as the default browser. Not really a Vivaldi issue, but wondering how Jon and the rest of us can combat the behemoth that is Google.
I mean, clearly it's a problem that our competitors are in a position where they have certain services that they then block others from using. And it's a really unfortunate situation. And obviously that's something that needs to stop. On the other hand, what we are trying to do on our side is building alternative services to give you a choice at the very least. And obviously part of that is building things like the Vivaldi.net free email, which again doesn't also spy on you or utilize your mail to kind of build a profile on you or anything like that. And similarly, we're working on the client side to build a client. But obviously this kind of behavior where our competitors like Google are making certain services which are used by a lot of people, not available in certain settings. It's a really bad thing to do, and obviously something that they need to stop doing. And I think it's important for you and others to speak out about that so people are aware of what's happening.
Yeah. Great, thank you. Got a comment from Tiago. In the future, Vivaldi pretends to do any plans to do any action or a speech in Brazil, presenting the browser to the public at a campus party like Opera did formerly.
I definitely love to. I've actually never been to Brazil, so it's kind of embarrassing. There's been talk of it at times, and then particularly now that I'm actually residing in the US, it feels it's a lot closer, but then you find out it's still far away. So hopefully there will be a chance to do that once we're done with the current COVID situation, that we can travel again. And obviously I'd like to go to Brazil. I'd like to go to there are many parts of the world I'd like to go to, but definitely Brazil, never been there. I have friends from Brazil. I have friends that have been there quite a lot, and it's about time.
So do I, actually. At the moment, it's not really easy per se, but when there's a chance. But Tiago, if you can hold an event or something, you're an ambassador, and then we openly, obviously ask for help from you guys, and it's vice versa. It's both ways. So if you want to hold events, invite us in one way or another. We're open for suggestions.
And by the way, Tiago, I hope you're staying safe. I am worried about the situation in Brazil as well. It's not looking good if you look at that. So I hope you're staying safe.
Yeah. Definitely. Hi, Håvard. You are actually one of us. You're the Vivaldi team too. Thanks for joining. You too should also spread the word. Obviously, you've worked on so many issues and on the browser. Helped us improve it. So.
Indeed.
Yep. Is there any other questions? I don't see it on the comment section, but let's see now. We still have 40 minutes still. Only 1/3 has been consumed, so. Yeah, people just it's freestyle, and then I kept this room be private too, so that as many of you as possible don't hesitate from asking. Don't stop yourselves from asking questions or speaking with Jon directly. So please feel free. But Jon, do you have any news you want to share? Any from just generally speaking too, either from Vivaldi or browsers in general? What have you been thinking about recently a lot?
So I'm thinking a lot, obviously. We just had some couple of really big releases, 3.0 and with the first mobile release, and that's something that it has features that we've been working on for quite some time. Obviously, having a mobile release out was really important, and I think in a way we spent a little bit of extra time because we saw that there were certain requests about things that people really wanted in that browser on the privacy side, and so we decided to step those up and have them in before the release. This is like the tracker blocker and the ad blocker, and I think it was important to get that in, given the number of people that were asking for it. I think it's great to get that out, and it actually gave us some extra time to work on other parts of the browser. Personally, I'm really happy with the fact that we've added the tabs. So you're able to browse with a tab on a phone, tabs on the phone today, and I think we're bringing some unique aspects in there. The color changing, that is a unique Vivaldi feature, that you change the color of the browser depending on the pages you visit. And also then we spent quite a lot of time on the getting it to work both well in vertical mode and in horizontal mode. And horizontal mode is really important for some of us, kind of like me, who's using the Planet devices, which have a keyboard and work in horizontal mode. So I think that's really important. On the desktop side, obviously big releases as well with the ad blocker and the tracker blocker, and now 3.1 coming up shortly, which has a number of really cool features. I think actually, one of the important ones is the Notes Manager, something that we've been working on for quite some time. We've had the notes as a feature across platform. I think it's a really useful one, and we're kind of expanding the scope of what the notes function can do. From the perspective of, okay, suddenly you're not, initially the focus was particularly that you could select a piece of text on a page, you would add that as a note, and it would add the text and the link and an image. We then synced things. We then added Markdown, so for people to be able to do things more efficiently or more visually pleasing. And then we added the full Notes Manager, and now it's kind of like having a full editor built into Vivaldi, where you can see things visually as you're writing the text, and I think that's unique and useful. And it's another example of how we are thinking, okay, out of the box with regards to the kind of features that you'd like to see in a browser. Because for some people, I guess, for example, for people that are at school or university, where they need to take notes on things, and they can then synchronize it easily between their devices, it's really useful, and you're not requiring to log into a third-party service again to be able to do that. You can do it in Vivaldi. Your data is encrypted with your own encryption password between the different devices. So there's some unique things there. And we're also adding the ability to edit menus. And this is in line with, we want you to be able to customize Vivaldi to your liking. It's one more step in this direction. Now you're able to kind of take buttons and move them around. You're able to remove buttons. You're able to change the menus, and Gradual will continue to kind of give you the kind of ability that you would expect from Vivaldi. And I know a lot of people have really liked this, and this is so much in line with what we're doing in general. And then again, we've also been working on things like speed. So there's always a lot of factors that we're working on at the same time. So those things are really, really important. At the same time, it's well known that we're working on our mail client, and I really hope we'll be able to show you that to you soon. We're making good progress, but there's still polishing to be done. And it's kind of this saying: when it's ready, we'll show it to you. But it's something we are really excited about. The mail client, the calendar functionality, the feeds, etc. And those are things that we've been working on for quite some time, and it's exciting to be showing that to all of you.
Yes, I can't wait to present the mail features and the like either. I've been also doing my best to contribute to those projects from localization perspectives as a pretend to be a complete beginner, and whether the onboarding process is right and stuff like that. Little personal story about the color change on the tabs. I was, even before I joined Vivaldi, I was already a Vivaldi user, and then I downloaded it right away when I heard about the news about the first technical preview. And I think Vivaldi had that feature, like changing the color depending on the site you visit. I think Vivaldi had the feature on the very early stage. I think even from the very start, and I totally like fell in love. That's one of the features you kind of the features you mentioned earlier, like something you find only in Vivaldi, and it can be a reason you can't leave Vivaldi anymore. So I totally liked it. Made a big impression.
Yeah, and it's very much in line with our thinking of the box, how we can do things differently. And again, we had the feature, we had the flexibility to then customize the feature. We then added the capability to add full themes. I mean, there's a lot of focus on light and dark themes on browsers, but light, dark, colorful, changing depending on the time of day, and obviously changing depending on which site you. So there's a lot of flexibility in there, which I think is something that is unique to us. And I really think this is one of the cores of how we want to do things better as a company. This kind of, which I feel others are doing, it's my way or the highway, where you have some good designers and they make one design. And that design is correct for everyone, but I think we're all different. We have all different requirements, and these are equally valuable. Obviously, sometimes I know it's kind of, how do we decide which ones to do first and the like, and obviously there would always be people that would like us to do their pet things first, or their pet bugs, or whatever it is. We're trying our best. We're not a huge team, and we are trying to do extraordinary big projects. I mean, things like mail client and calendar and these specialized features, and we're writing the code. I mean, we're writing a lot of code, basically. And we're also making it more difficult for us on the mobile side. I think you'll find most of the mobile browsers actually today utilize the standard component that's on the device. We compile our own, and obviously that gives us more control over what that component is doing. And we can also make sure that it's more up-to-date. Depending on how up-to-date your device is, you might be using a device that has a really old browser core. And from a security and privacy perspective, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Seems like we've got a couple of questions in the chat box. But I'll get to your point if... when we've answered to other questions, I guess. DV, thank you for the question. Thanks for great work and browser. What's the biggest challenge for the Vivaldi and its CEO in running the company? That's the question.
I mean, mostly it's a lot of fun, to be frank. I mean, it takes time to build a browser company. I think it's something that, obviously it's the second time I'm doing this. Still, it takes time to build things out, and obviously as a small team, it takes time to deliver, and that's something that we're working on. But we have a really, really talented team, and I think what you will find is that with the team that we have, we are able to do so much more than what you could expect. I mean, in a way, it's a tiny team that works really hard, and we're delivering huge features. We're delivering continuous improvements. We're dealing with we're working on Chromium. And working on Chromium, people seem to think, oh, that must be easy because you're getting all this code for free. That's if you don't change it. If you change it, it's kind of like building a house while some other people are working on the house at the same time, and they are not talking to you. And they actually may decide to make decisions that are opposite of what you would like to see. So it's actually quite a lot of work, in particular based on how we are doing things. We decided to make the browser cross-platform, utilizing web technologies to allow us to work efficiently and have the browser up to date on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and potentially other operating systems at the same time, with a rich feature set. And this means we're doing a fair amount of changes to Chromium, besides also kind of anything relating to communication to Google servers and the like. So there's a lot of work to be done to build the browser, and it's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun to be communicating with everyone. Obviously, we're not only, I mean, we're in some ways, I mean, obviously we're building a browser, we're building a mail client, we're building a calendar, we're building services to support you. In this time and age, it's quite common for people to just use Facebook and Twitter and those accounts. We've selected that we want to work with you on our own platform so we can make sure that we communicate with you in the best possible way and provide you with some free services at the same time. I mean, whether it's the webmail, the blog, the free calendar and the like, which we're then will be working with our client, and obviously all the services will work with our clients as well. So there's a massive amount of work that we are doing, but overall I would say I'm lucky to be working with a fantastic team, really smart people across the board. I'm feeling privileged and to have the help and the support from you guys. I mean, and I think this is something we have across the company. A lot of gratitude for all you guys that are supporting us out there. And again, I mean, a lot of the reason why we are doing that, building the browser and building the services, is you guys. I mean, there's something special about the fact that you're sharing and helping us and helping answer questions and talking to your mates about switching to Vivaldi. And so to me, it's about the pleasure. That's why we're doing this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for great answer. Honored to hear as well. Glad to hear being part of the team as well. Little trivia: our homepage Vivaldi.com has a team page with a picture of everyone on the team, and it's not only humans that are on the list. If you want to take a look, it's a little fun feature there. Another question from DV: Is it finding right people? Sorry, it was related to the previous one. Is it finding right people? Is it fighting competition? Is it providing funds? Is it deciding what directions the project will be developed or something else? It seems a bit related to the previous question. I mean, the biggest challenge for Vivaldi, yes.
But I can expand on that. I mean, on the different sides of it, and obviously, I mean, getting a great team is a challenge. We must do that. We're lucky that there are so many good people that want to work with us, and that's a unique situation. And we've been lucky. We've been able to get a really strong team, and I think in a way, with the support we have on the outside, it is a fantastic situation as well. But I mean, we have managed to get a really, really, really strong team, and I'm proud of that. And so I feel that's something, a strength, and the community is a strength. Obviously, we are competing with companies that are huge, that don't always play fair. There's always there's been the mentions of kind of when our competitors block us from using services or the like. We had to change our user agent to be kind of hide the fact that it's Vivaldi because of that. So situations like that, it's a challenge. When it comes to funding, well, we decided we don't want any, so that one is simple. And that's also to keep Vivaldi on the kind of on the narrow path of doing the right thing. So it's employee owned. The external funding or the like, whatever we like to call. I mean, I fund the company, and then we get revenue from search and the like. So that's how we build the company, and that's how we like to keep it. We don't want to go public. We don't want to be doing other things that kind of take away the focus of the company. We want to stay on the straight and narrow, just focus on building great products, and that's it. And so the focus for us as a company is growing the user base to a level which then is profitable. We are not there yet, but we're making great strides, and with your help, that's where we're going. And I think it's a really positive situation. I don't know about you guys, but being able to build software that people love and people are kind of working with you in the way that our users are working with us, to me that's unique, and that's why we started Vivaldi and why we are doing this project and why we are listening to you and we're just trying to build the best possible browser for you.
Actually, we've just changed the design of the front page of Vivaldi.com, and the point Jon just brought up, our mission, the like points, like it's a employee-owned company, and points like that are mentioned on the very front page now. So if you guys want to take a look, you're most welcome. Another comment from Reclining Buddha. The notes editor needs a side-by-side display. It is okay for me on a portrait monitor, but most monitors are landscape. It's a very concrete feedback.
Okay, obviously, I mean, the nice thing about Vivaldi is you can open multiple of these and then tile them any way you like. So try that. I mean, open a few notes managers and then you can show them and organize them in any way that you like. So it's utilizing the flexibility of the tab stack tiling.
Yes, please give it a try. Thank you.
Yeah. And by you're asking for vertical mode as well. That's coming.
Yay.
If I misunderstood the question, whether you have the list at the top or the left, that is an option. You're getting that as well. Don't worry.
There you go. That's good to know. Yeah, thank you, Anne, from Vivaldi, to also watching the live stream. That's interesting too, Taka, why you joined What You Love. Yeah, I have a big personal story about joining Vivaldi. I mean, it's a life story too. I'm even moved from Japan and relocated to Norway, and how have been loving Vivaldi as a user too, and it's a great honor and a life milestone really to have joined the team and every day from day by day to help the product grow from within. It's very much fun. Mtaki 14, thank you. I'd like to hear what are the long terms, if any. Let's say in a perfect world where Vivaldi has gotten a lot of traction. The long-term plans, I guess, like dreams.
I mean, our goal is to build the best possible browser, and by doing that, we hope and believe that we will be getting a lot of users in Vivaldi. But the point isn't for us to be the #1 browser necessarily. Our focus is to build great software, and we know that we spread through word of mouth, and I mean the focus for us is just to build a great piece of software that you think is worth sharing with your friends, and that's kind of what we are doing as a company. We are not kind of communicating because again, we are not a listed company. We don't have investors saying you have to have this and this return on investment or anything like that. The investors are inside the company, and obviously everyone inside the company wants the company to do well. But the focus for us is just to build a great piece of software, gradually churning releases with everything that you guys want us to build but at the same time in a way that you're able to use or not use it, not have it in your way if it's a feature that you don't like. So that's a focus for us. So, I mean, the flexibility, seeing that every one of you is unique and building a browser for you. I mean, that's the focus of what we are doing as a company.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Roger from Hold, for joining. Saying, I joined late, sorry, but no problem. Does Jon want to make a statement regarding M3? Is it still in the books?
Yeah, I mean, obviously M3 is such an important feature for us, and I know it's something that people want to see, and it's something we've been working on for quite some time, and I think we're all very eager to get it out the door. Again, the elements are mostly in place. There's always going to be things that we'd like to kind of then do later on. Get out as soon as possible, a first release for you to try out. It's not finished. I understand that a lot of you have been waiting for a long time to see what we have, and we are obviously very eager to show it to you. So that's kind of where we are. We want to show you, I'd like to show you I'm using M3 and I have been for quite some time, and quite a lot of us are using M3 as our default browser, a default mailer. And we want to show you what we have, and the same applies to the calendar and the feed handler and all of those things. And I think it's very close, hopefully very, very close. But it's kind of always this when it's ready that's getting in our way, because if we don't feel it's ready, then it isn't ready.
We want it to be good too. So yeah, please stay tuned, really. We can't wait either, but we're doing our best.
Yeah. The guys are working on this really, really hard, and it is a big question. There's more and more people that are pitching in, and there's a lot of details to go through, and we're continuing to polish. Yes. But a lot of work now is a question of polishing details, speed, those kinds.
Yes, Roger saying thank you for the answer.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger. I think we're still available for a couple more questions, so please don't hesitate. This whole question was covered a bit too, actually. Future plans of Vivaldi, maybe aside from M3 too.
So Howard just wants me to talk about his project, but I don't want to talk about it yet.
Now is the time, really? Yeah.
No, Howard, you have to wait a little bit. We want to spring eyes.
Exactly.
So yes, again, there's a number of projects that we have long-term projects that people have been working on, and one of them is what Howard has been working on, and it's really cool, and I look forward to showing it to you, but it's not ready to be talked about just yet. But that's another thing that hopefully, I'm hoping we'll show Howard's projects to you later this year as well. So, there's a lot of these projects, and we've had our rounds of discussions on, okay, what are the things that we'd like to build into the browser? What are the things that we like to support on the server side? And there's new ideas coming up all the time. And there's old ideas that have been there for a long time that we finally are able to get to. And then at the same time, as we said, we are balancing this, coming out with big new features, with optimizing code, with dealing with Chromium updates, with fixing bugs, quite often related to those Chromium updates. It's quite complicated, this Chromium update mechanism, because we have to fix a lot of issues every single time. Wish it was easier for us to get our changes into the Chromium code, but as long as that's kind of difficult, we have to deal with things in the way that we're dealing with it now. But there's a lot of new features being worked on. There's a lot of improvements in the code being worked on. There are big projects, there are small projects. We're having a lot of fun here.
Yeah. Have to be careful about what we can say about this. But yeah, I'm overall very excited too about this. Glad to have Håvard on this. Yeah. Håvard says no, but yeah, we are looking forward to showing it to the public. So
yeah.
I guess we have some 10 minutes. So, if there is no questions from the corner, I have just a couple of my personal messages to the ambassadors, and as I mentioned in the invite mail, this is a kickoff event to an update I want to bring to the ambassador program, and I'm very grateful that so many people signed up for this program, and this made me really believe that having such a strong community is clearly our strength, and I believe in code creation as well. I'm going to I guess openly ask for help from you who are willing to support us and help us, and I want to support you do that too. I mean, whenever you feel like introducing Vivaldi to your surroundings, at work or at home, or if you see any challenges, if people don't like certain parts of Vivaldi or in the onboarding process, I would like you to let us know too, so that we can make improvements, help you spread Vivaldi as well. So yeah, feel free. I'll be in the forum basically every day as well. You can talk to me anytime. You can find me by Takaaki, at Mark Takaaki. I have the Vivaldi team label as well on the forum, so it should be easy to find me. Okay, if you guys have want to leave further questions, comments on the YouTube video, it's fine. The same link should work anytime, and we can leave answers too. And if it's silent from the chat room, I guess I'll toss it to you. If you have some closing comments, direct messages, like what kinds of points, or you've already talked about many points, but if you want to stress certain points strongly to our ambassadors as a closing comment, I guess.
Yeah, I just hope that all of you are staying safe in this time of COVID. And I mean, I know it's very tough in certain countries. And I mean, the US is one, Brazil is another one, UK and the like. So I'm just hoping that you're all staying safe. I'm very thankful for your support. We're building this browser and those services that we're building that for you. And we hope that you appreciate that and that you'll like what we are doing. And please let us know what we can do to improve. We're thankful for those comments as well, what we can do to do better. We love working with you. I mean, that's why we are doing what we are doing. So I'd just like to thank you all for all the efforts that you're putting in for us, and stay safe, and talk to you again soon.
Yes. Actually, currently 18 people are watching, so thank you all for joining. Like I said, Jon said, talk to us anytime, and we'll assist you too. Spread Vivaldi, so it should be both ways. Let's make Vivaldi even better together. I guess we can then, for closing comment from Roger. Thank you for building the Vivaldi browser.
Thank you.
Thank you. Likewise. All right, then I guess we can call it a day here. It's been 1 hour. So there's a comment from the video. Thanks for the answer and the session, and of course Vivaldi.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, we got another question too, actually, from Roger. How big is the actual user base of Vivaldi? Good question.
I mean, currently we're probably around 1.5 million active users, thereabouts.
I go 1.5 million. Let's see how many we have next time we talk about this. Help us grow, please. Yeah, let's do it together. Let's make further growth happen together. All right. I guess I'll call it a day. Thank you for being here, Jon, and you too. Please stay safe.
Cheers.
Bye bye.